You are listening to Brush Pass on Spyberry. Quick reviews sent in by Spy fans for Spy fans.
It's a brush pass, quick and simple.
Hi everybody, welcome to Spyberry. Brush Pass, remember those? We've not had one in ages. What's happening to our Spyberian agents out there in the field? I know you've got important messages that you want to transmit to your fellow Spyberians. Now, in all seriousness, I know, right, voice on the air. Even I hate my own voice, right? And I've done 67 of these now. But we all love the brush passes. I can tell you the brush passes get some of the most, attract some of the highest downloads here on Spyberry. So don't be shy. If you've read a great book, the key thing here is it's just your first thoughts, right? This isn't a Wall Street Journal book review or, the Times book review. This is just your thoughts. If you met me in a bar and said, I read this cracking book last night, Shane. So here's mine. The Righteous Spy, written by Merle Nygate. Many of you will remember we had Merle on the show, episode 62, back in November. And I feel a wee bit guilty because I always try and read a guest book before they come on the show. And it's not always possible, just through time commitments, okay? I think I might bring in a rule where in future I will not interview someone unless I've read the book, because I do feel a bit guilty that even though it was a really fun interview with Merle and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I know you enjoyed it, I didn't feel I did full credit to her book by not having read it. What's it about? So, innocent lives are at risk, but who is the real enemy? Ellie is Mossad's star spy runner and the man responsible for bringing unparalleled intelligence to the Israeli agency. Now he's leading an audacious operation in the UK that feeds his ambition but threatens his conscience. The British and the Americans have intel Mossad desperately need. To force MI6 and the CIA into sharing their priceless information, Ellie and his maverick colleague Rafi undertake a risky mission to trick their allies, faking a terrorist plot on British soil. But in the world of espionage, the game is treacherous, opaque, and deadly. The blurb says, a twisting international spy novel, The Righteous Spy is an intriguing tale of espionage that portrays a clandestine world in which moral transgressions serve higher causes. A must-read for fans of Homeland, Fauda, and The Americans. It will also appeal to readers of Charles Cumming and John le Carre. Now, I would add to that, it will also appeal to readers of Len Deighton. What I really enjoyed about Merle's book was the realism of the story, the cynicism in the story, the attacks of conscience in the story. I love the fact that guns are very rarely used. There is violence on a very small level. Top of my mind, I remember one rumble in a bar, and that was very quick and over very quick, very realistic. And I love that. I really kind of matured in my spy reading where, I love a Bond book and all that. But for me, now I like a book that makes me think a little bit. Or when you you read about the spies and you think, wow, I could never do that job. Either because of the roles they have to perform or the political direction that their masters are making them follow. I did pull up a couple of quotes here just to kind of explain what I liked about the book. Now, first of all, Ellie. Ellie strode past the small cafe where the gym bunnies hung out. As usual, he pulled in his gut. This is very early in the book, and I think most of us men will relate to that. I know I pull my gut in on many an occasion, right? So immediately I'm like, wow, this guy's kind of real. He's not the suave, sophisticated Roger Moore type, okay? This is a guy who knows he's probably work on himself. And he contrasts a great deal with the suave spy in this, his colleague Rafi. And that does lead to tension between the two. And I don't want to go too much into that in this Brush Pass review, but it does make for compelling reading. Let's keep on with the realist theme. That's exactly what I say to the kids in training. Agents are liars, losers, bleep ups. We all know that. But there's a fine line between being unpredictable and being unmanageable. No agent is unmanageable, Ellie. It's just a question of finding the right handler. It's like dating. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You know that as well as anyone. In truth, better than anyone. A lot of realism. Very le Carre-esque, that. And then they talk about their source at GCHQ. Redcap wouldn't be the first agent whose angry wife had phoned a home security service. The event was so common, it was a cliche. They even had an expression for it. Lich Pokaki, angry shit-dropping bird. And, you know, what I like about Merle's book is that she does weave in. You could tell she's done a lot of research here, both on Mossad and tradecraft. And there are quite a few words she weaves in, which are from Israel, Hebrew, that relate to the spying game. So, Merle, maybe you'll tell us on the Facebook group how you researched that. But it, you know, did make me laugh out loud. And then also there is that ability that Merle has to weave in the real with the fake. And she writes, Ellie had heard the full disgraceful story from Alon, who'd been in Washington at the time. Pollard, a U.S. naval intelligence officer, had thrown himself at the Israeli embassy in Washington like the last virgin of a dying race. He'd begged to give information, pleaded to be heard. Of course, the product had been top grade. Alon had said it was irresistible, but Pollard's runners got greedy and pushed too hard. End result, Pollard gets caught, and the resulting scandal seriously damaged relationships, and damaged relationships meant damaged American support. So I like how Merle has weaved in real-life cases with other spies. There's a little dig, actually, at Ellie as a dig at Raffi, his colleague, who is the womanizer, the slick, sophisticated agent. And then again, you have Ellie who pulls in his gut, right? So you can imagine the chemistry between the two. And it says, Ellie went on, reads like James Bond. All that was missing was the helicopter, speedboat, and the part where the intelligence officer sleeps with the agent. And this is talking about something Raffi has done on an op. And Eli is taking the moral high ground here. But I love that. I love that. Reads like James Bond. All that was missing was the helicopter, speedboat, and the part where the intelligence officer bleeps the agent. Also, there is a scene where Ellie meets his agent in a comedy club in Cheltenham. And it's quite a sad scene at one point. And I'm careful here not to give any spoilers, but let's just say Ellie is in the bar and he's watching the comedian set up to a very sparse room and says, what sort of life must it be standing up in front of drunk and uninterested people, trying to make them laugh? Mind you, what sort of life was it sitting in a pub waiting for an agent to turn up? I really like that image of, again, he's kind of thinking of his profession as like, who on earth would do this? And it's something that I always think when I read Le Carré, Dayton, you think, who would put up with all of this? There's a nice dig as well at wannabe spies. So they get a therapist involved, which is quite important to the plot, who gets quite spooked by something that happens. And Ellie says, Doctor, we wouldn't be asking you to assist us in this way unless it was of the utmost importance. And let me just say that we are immensely grateful for your help. Ellie put his all into soothing the woman and keeping the irritation out of his voice. What did the woman think was going to happen when she was approached by an Israeli commercial attaché at a drinks party and asked if at some point she might assist the state of Israel in some undefined way? Maybe she thought she'd be going to more cocktail parties to meet dashing agents. Maybe she thought they'd be rendezvousing casinos in Caribbean resorts. Maybe she thought the phone would never ring and she could live with her fantasies. That was the most likely. So I think, Merle's book, the one word I want you to take away from this is realism. And not a realism in that all the tradecraft is spot on, okay? But realism that when you read the book, it sounds like something that could happen, okay? I think it says a lot about the world of espionage. In fact, there is author's notes at the back, and I'll quote from Merle. We can throw up our hands in despair about the immorality of these actions, the notion of the KGB manipulating well-meaning, peaceable people to support Soviet aims, while the CIA uses religious beliefs to try to destabilize the Soviet bloc. But it's the nature of the profession. What intrigues me as a writer is that these transgressive acts are being planned and carried out by mostly decent, intelligent people with the very best of intentions. And also, Merle, in true Spiberian fashion, does actually have a little bit of a bibliography at the back. And she says, these are some of the books I read. I won't read them all out, but there's things in there like the Mitrokhin Archive, Spycatcher. I know Brentini loves a bit of Spycatcher, don't you, Bren? Spy Handler, Rory Cormack's Disrupt and Deny, and one of my all-time favorites, Memoirs of a Spy Master, Marcus Wolf. So in short, why am I recommending you go out and get Merle's book? I just really enjoyed it. It was one of those books that I found very hard to put down. Merle has a really great way of describing people, places and really conjuring up the atmosphere of what it's like to be an agent in a foreign country, acting on behalf of your country and your beliefs. Knowing what you're doing isn't exactly, I was going to use the word kosher, but I should, it's probably not right when I'm talking about Mossad. But yeah, it's an attack of conscience. And I don't want to say too much because it's the beauty of the book. The last sentence of the book had me scratching my head. So Merle, I might need to talk to you privately. But yeah, do go check out the book. As I say, I really hope Merle continues to write spy novels. I think she has a real talent for this. I'm not one of these people who says someone is, the next Dayton or Le Carre, but really go check out Merle Nygate. The links are on spybrary.com/68, and you can pick up the book there. I know it's available in Kindle. I think Merle said recently that it's going to be coming out in paperback. So yeah, go check it out. If you want to send in a brush pass, and I really hope you do. Okay, I made a few notes in here, but you don't really have to do that for a brush pass. Some of us are better at talking than writing. So, do consider, just get your iPhone out, 2-3 minutes, whatever. Tell us about the book. Send it in to shane@spybrary.com, or if you have any concerns or you're not sure how to do it, just drop me a note. Okay, as you can tell from today's brush pass, right, this is unscripted. This is me umming and ahhing and erring. So this is basically what we're looking for on Brush Pass. Okay, so the reason I'm keep banging on about this is I don't want you to think this is literary criticism. It's not. It's just, if I met you in a bar and we're a couple of whiskeys in and you tell me about a book you've just read or why you think I should read it. All right, Spybrarians, as always, join us on the Facebook group. Lots of great conversation going on there. And that's at spybrary.com/Facebook. And if you enjoy Spybrary, do consider supporting us at patreon.com/Spybrary. Massive thank you to all of you who chip in each month to keep the show on the air and keep us delivering great content. Thank you.
Can you pull off a brush pass? Send in your review to shane@spybrary.com.
Thanks for listening to the Spybrary podcast. You don't have to wait for the next episode. Join the conversation happening now at facebook.com/Spybrary and on Twitter @Spybrary.